Good afternoon. Great to have you here with us at 4 o'clock on this Monday. We begin with that big announcement today here in Indianapolis that involves hundreds of jobs, the local economy, and your health care.
Biotech giant Roche Diagnostics is investing $500 million into a hub for manufacturing here. Anna Chalker she has today's announcement and joins us now with more and a closer look at what all this means.
Well, soon they'll be the home for the continuous glucose monitoring systems, and they say the big push for this is to have more products locally and to help the 38 million Americans that are suffering with diabetes every day. So the company plans to invest $550 million into its U.S. headquarters on the city's northeast side over the next 5 years to establish this central hub for the manufacturing of CGMs. So the plan is to refurbish an already existing building at the site to create this new space you see on your screen. And right now, around 3,200 employees work on the manufacturing distribution side, and Roche expects this expansion to create 650 additional jobs. They also plan to partner with U.S.-based suppliers for production equipment, engineering, and construction. Now, the city has offered a 10-year tax abatement to Roche, valued at $40 million for this project. So why will Indy be the new home for this hub? Roche leaders say this space will build on decades of manufacturing here in the state.
This location has strong manufacturing capabilities and a long-standing history of producing diabetes care products for Roche. In fact, in 2024, we manufactured over 5 billion diabetes test strips for patients across the world.
Now, this will all come in phases, and the goal is to start production in 3 years. So at 6:15, we talked with some local and state leaders about this, about how this hub will not only impact Indy and Indiana, but really the country as a whole, because so many people really need this help.
Yeah, big ripple effect.
Yeah, a big investment. Thank you, Anna Chalker, reporting this afternoon. On to more news.
Yeah, we also learned today Dr. Brad Bomba Sr. has died. He's the former IU athletics director accused of inappropriate and unnecessary prostate and rectal exams during his annual physicals. 5 former players are now suing the school. The IU Board of Trustees and a former athletic trainer, Tim Garl, are named in the suit. Neither Bomba Sr. nor Garl are facing criminal charges at this time. Dr. Bomba Sr. is not a defendant in that lawsuit. A law firm for IU did a report on his exams, and that report concluded those exams were, quote, clinically appropriate. Bomba Sr. was 89.
A Clemency hearing for Benjamin Ritchie ended just about an hour ago. He is set to be executed in just over a week for the murder of Beech Grove police officer Bill Toney back in 2000. Today, people argued against and for his execution, including Toney's wife. We will hear their reaction coming up on 13 News at 5.
The man accused of shooting across a busy Indianapolis street, hitting a woman in the face, has been sentenced to 13 years. 27-year-old Marquise Tipton was found guilty for multiple charges, including aggravated battery and criminal recklessness. He now has 3 years suspended, with 10 years served in prison and 2 on probation. Police say surveillance video shows Tipton firing a gun across Keystone Avenue back in March of 2023. A stray bullet hit 64-year-old Susie Warden in the face while she was working inside Sullivan Hardware and Garden right across the street. Warden lost her left eye. In court today, Tipton apologized and says he's not a bad guy.
Well, today, U.S. and Chinese officials called a 90-day truce in their trade war, rolling back most of their recent tariff hikes.
And, of course, the markets reacted, looking up right now. Karen Kafa is at the White House this afternoon with details on that agreement.
The Trump White House pleased with the outcome of these negotiations in Geneva over the weekend. The U.S. and China coming out of a marathon weekend of negotiations by agreeing to drastically reduce tariffs on one another's imports for at least 90 days. President Donald Trump, before taking off on the first major international trip of his second term, describing the relationship with China in glowing terms.
They were very happy to be able to do something with us. And the relationship is very, very good. I'll speak to President Xi maybe at the end of the week.
With this new 90-day agreement, which takes effect Wednesday, the U.S. will lower tariffs on Chinese goods from 145% to 30%. And China will cut its levies on U.S. imports from 125% to 10%, still high rates by historical standards. The director of the National Economic Council, Kevin Hassett, described it as a, quote, historic fresh start in the relationship between the world's two largest economies. He also defended Trump's aggressive approach to the global trade negotiations, which has resulted in a back and forth between China and the U.S., ratcheting up tariffs on one another's goods.
If you do anything that might change the status quo, then that's going to add to uncertainty. But the uncertainty is on the right side of the American worker, because ultimately, if the uncertainty works, then you move to a better place. And that's what we're seeing in country after country after country.
Global markets reacting in very positive fashion to the news Monday. It's also a sigh of relief for at least 90 days for businesses and consumers. The sky-high tariffs had pretty much stopped trade with China. That risks supply chain shocks, higher prices, and shortages. And President Trump taking off on Monday to a trip that will include stops in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. His administration says the goal is to shore up relationships in a crucial part of the world and also make more economic deals. At the White House, I'm Karen Kafa.
All right, Karen, thank you. Let's switch to weather on this Monday afternoon. Got some rainfall in downtown Indy, Sean.
Yeah, a couple of spots, seeing a few raindrops. We can't have sunshine and comfortable air like we had over the weekend, which was fantastic.
It's darn near perfect.
That works out well, though. Monday, I mean, a little bit of rain. We get through a beautiful weekend. No complaints.
Because it's not like we have a lot going on in these weekends ahead the rest of the month.
No,
Nothing
not
going
much.
on at all here in Indianapolis. Yeah, let's show you what's going on. If you haven't been outside since this morning, I will tell you it's a little more humid, and that will be a big story for us here over the next several days. A lot of cloud cover, not a lot of rain, but we do have some on live Doppler 13 radar, and it's coming from a little different direction. Usually a lot of our weather is a west to east movement. This is wrapping around an area of low pressure to our southwest, so it's more of a southeast to northwest moving along that circulation. We have a lot of clouds. We don't have a whole lot of rain, but I do believe that will increase over the next couple of hours now that we're in daytime heating. You see a little cell there heading toward Coatesville. And again, everything on radar, it's going to be kind of taking a little more of an unusual move because of the low to our southwest. Coverage is beginning to increase. We'll get more rumbles of thunder, and the spin that we're talking about there, yeah, it's sitting over Tennessee. So we're on the northeastern quadrant of it. That's why we're getting this east to west movement on the showers. Rain a little more prevalent far eastern Indiana, all of us in the 70s. And one thing you definitely have noticed and felt, yeah, dew points are near 60 degrees. That's our line of discomfort, and that's what's going to be with us the next couple of days. And the mugginess will peak on Thursday, possibly with some severe thunderstorms. I'll have more on that and the rest of your 7-day outlook here in just a few minutes.